Welcome to the Prescott Home Value Report through January 2026, brought to you by the Prescott Pickle Lady, Diane Breaux Realtor. As you can probably tell, I am not the Pickle Lady. That's me in the bottom right-hand corner. My name is Randall, and the Pickle Lady has authorized me to share with you the following slides. As always, we start with the median sales price per square foot in the city of Prescott. Each one of these dots represents the median sales price per square foot for homes that sold in that month. The blue line is last year, and the red line is this year. As you can see, year over year for the month of January, we are up 7% over last year's prices. Right around, looks like we're right just over 320, but that is a 7% hike since last year. Turning now to volume. In this chart, once again, the blue line is last year, the red line is this year, but now the dots represent the number of homes that sold, closed in that month. And as you can see, we are neck and neck with the old blue line there. We're a little below it. I'm not exactly sure what that percentage is. We'll see that numerically later. Earlier last year, I guess, our transaction volume was sticking out significantly past last year's volume. Now we're in lockstep, exactly about where we were last night. So is it a buyer's market, seller's market? The way we answer that question is something called the pending ratio analysis. And the way it works is when we ran it, there were 654 homes that were on the market. Of those, 103, and this is just the city of Prescott, of those, 103 of them were already pending. Well, 103 is 16% of the 654, so our pending ratio is 16%. If you look up 16% in our handy-dandy color chart here, you'll see it falls into the bracket that we determine is a strong buyer's market. I've been there for quite some time. If you break that out by price point, it looks something like this. This is kind of the classic look of this curve. The red dots, that's the pending ratio for homes that are in that price point. So this is the pending ratio for homes that were in the 400s. The blue bars down here, that's volume. That's the number of homes that sold. So you can see most of them are kind of clumping in the middle here. We get fewer and fewer as the price goes up, and then 1.2 and above. That's become more and more of a significant bar. We've had to knock out the price point a little bit further to the right here, but we still have a pretty big bar there for 1.2 million and above. As you can see, we kind of drift down to the right. This is the most common form of this curve. Typically, homes that are lower priced tend to be more, that market tends to be more of a seller's market. And as the price goes up, becomes more and more of a buyer's market. With the anomaly of 800s, a little bit 700s, but certainly the 800s, you see this little lilt. We've been seeing that for quite some time. For some reason, homes in the 800s tend to be less of a buyer's market than other price points. How long does it take for a home to sell in Prescott? Answer is 10.4 months from the time you put the home on MLS until you close. About 10.4 months on average. So that's almost 9 months to contract. And we got 1.5 months. That's high. Usually this is about a month. So we're running, 8.5, 9 months from the time you get on MLS until you get a contract. Now, that varies by area of town, age of home, that sort of thing. Turning now to Prescott Valley, the same sort of analysis. First, we start with the median sales price per square foot. We've had a bit of a turnaround. As you can see, I'm not sure why my 7's over here instead of under here. But anyway, that is a 7% hike. All of a sudden, our price per square in the city of Prescott Valley is going over what it was last year. to the tune of 7%. I think it was 7% for Prescott, now 7% in Prescott Valley. That's good. Now January is kind of a low volume month. I don't know if I would overinterpret the results in terms of long-term trends, but for what it's worth, 7% over last year. The price per square had been running under last year for a number of months. I had to go back to the summer before it would flip. Well, now it's flipped again in January. Looking at volume figures, we got volume figures significantly over last year. So we're running about 60 homes for January. That's good. Homes that close in January, those contracts generally were written in December. Not a lot of people are writing contracts in December, so we usually see that as a significant drop in volume in the month of January. We don't really see that. It's just kind of stable with the month of December. So that is a significant, that's 50% more than the volume that we saw last year. So I was really expecting that to drop. It did not. All right, so is it a buyer's market, seller's market? Well, there were 344 homes on the market, so that's our inventory. 76 of them were already pending, so that pending ratio is 22%. That is a buyer's market. It's not a strong buyer's market, not extreme. It is a buyer's market, getting pretty close to balanced. So those are very healthy numbers. And here is the pending ratio broken out by price point. Jumps around a whole lot more than the Prescott curve. You see a bump at 500s is actually in the balanced market area in terms of pending ratios, showing a balanced market in the 500s, pretty close in the 800s. You still kind of see a little drift down to the right here. But you've got a number of these price points where things kind of get crazy. These numbers out here, that's a very thin market in Prescott Valley. I would not overinterpret those. How long does it take for a home to sell in Prescott Valley? 5.5 months. 1.2 of that is escrow. Again, that is usually a month. So that's like a month and a week or a month and 2 weeks. Yeah, that's a little long. Things going a lot faster in Prescott Valley than they are in Prescott. 4.3 months versus, I think we're pushing 8.5 for Prescott. Again, these numbers bounce around a lot at this time of year because our volumes are really low. You don't have a big denominator that kind of makes the statistics robust. All right, so here are the highlights in the city of Prescott. We're at $325 per square foot. That is a 7% hike over last year, 2% drop from last month, but 7% year over year. In Prescott Valley, also 7% year over year. You see the huge twist. That's an 8% hike since December. They are at $307 per square foot. In terms of volume, we had exactly the same number in Prescott and Prescott Valley at 63. That's low for Prescott, not so low for Prescott Valley. That is a 40% drop since last month. Again, we kind of expect that in January, from December to January. And if you look at it annually, that's a 9% drop from last year. Prescott Valley, opposite story. So that is, as I said, 50. It's actually 54% higher than last year and a 7% change from last month. Inventory, we're at 654 in Prescott and 344 Prescott Valley. And that's pretty close to last month. There are very small drops there. Month to contract, 8.7 for Prescott. That's 2 months longer than last month. That's a big jump. We're expecting to get that back next month. 4.3 months to contract in Prescott Valley, which is a little less than a half of a month faster than last month.
Look, if you like this kind of stuff, we got lots more for you in the Prescott Home Value Report. This is just a summary. We go into specific subdivisions and just a whole bunch of stuff. So lots of slicing and dicing. So I would encourage you to download that report and get it in full. We update this report every month, but it is not the only report we do. We also have what we call the Appraiser's Eye View, which is the last 6 months of the latest comps. And it's broken out by subdivision. In fact, Prescott Lakes, we break it out by neighborhood, so it's very, very detailed. This is an example of what you'll see in the chart. This would be a subdivision. It is sorted by price per square foot, the number of months that it took the home to sell, square footage, the year it was built, how many stories, how many acres, and whether the listing agent is reporting the home having a view or not. Using this, you can look at all the different comps that occurred. You can see the average down here. So using this, it's a really good tool to figure out what you should be paying for a home, or where you might want to price a home that you are selling. So a really cool tool. We even have a video which goes through how to use this information to come up with value estimates for homes.
We do a whole lot of tools like this, all of them really very cool for both buyers and sellers. And one thing I should point out is you can't get these from any place else. These are exclusive. You can only get them from the Prescott Pickle Lady.
And all of this is part of our page. We call it Prescott by the Numbers, or more commonly the Pickle page. So if you're on the Pickle page, you know the Pickle page. But if you're not the Pickle page, well, you should get to the Pickle page. And you do that by subscribing. We update it every month. If you subscribe, we will send you a monthly email update with the link so you can go download all the reports that you want. Even if you're not all that interested in getting every single month, just having access to these tools will give you a real leg up when it comes to the real estate game. I hope you found this informative and maybe slightly entertaining, and we look forward to seeing you next month.
Please take a moment to look below and find the button that'll take you to the Pickle page. We'll see you there.